Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we are doing a whip and chat, so get out whatever it is you're working on and work along with me. As you can see, this is a little bit different. I'm not diamond painting. I know. I promised a subscriber last week that I would color, and I don't know what happened. I didn't have the brain set to color. So this week I'm going to be doing my color and chat. So I do apologize. I don't like to break promises to people, but because I have introduced coloring on my channel, I do need to do it every once in a while. Plus, I found this really cool thing at Walmart. As you can see, Colors of the World crayons from Crayola. Now, they have been talking about coming out with skin tone colors that match every skin tone in the world, and I was actually able to find them at Walmart. They had the 28 pack and the 32 pack, which I'm not sure why you would go with the 28 pack if you can get the 32 pack, but I digress. So we are going to try this out. Now, I've never really done this on camera, so we're going to do her skin tone and crayon, and then her skin or the rest of the stuff in marker. I have my Ohuhu brush tips. They're my favorite. So if you're wondering, I have the 120 set of Ohuhu brush tips. I like brush tips. I really wish Arteza would come out with brush tips. They said possibly maybe in the future, but that was last year, so I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. But I am a brush tip type girl. Now this page that I'm coloring, you're probably wondering, where did this page come from? Where can you get it? If you are a Patreon of Hannah Lynn, this was our monthly Patreon page, because every month Patreons get a page from Hannah Lynn for free. So this is our monthly page from Patreon. If you're not part of her Patreon, I will link it down below in case you're interested. You get like mostly bonuses and stuff like that. Like you'll see it. So in order to get the page, you of course would have to join her Patreon, and then like all that other stuff comes with it. Either way. So we are going to try these skin tones. So I haven't colored with crayons and I don't know how long. Oh, look, even the paper around them is brown. So we're going to pick, we're not going to do a light skin tone. We're going to, do I need to color swatch these? I feel like I need to color swatch these. We're going to try these two colors. So I'm just going to take it like this, because I always have another page underneath just for bleeding of the markers. Yeah, I think those two colors will go good together. All right, so I hope everyone is doing well. Yo, guys, it has been a week. So as you guys already know, I got a new phone. And you can probably tell because the quality of the picture is a little bit different. Now, I'm still learning how to use said phone. Because, of course, when you get something new, you have to take that grace period of like a week to learn all the ins and outs, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to get this phone to work. And then when I went live on Friday, you could see like my entire workspace, and I was like, what the actual F? Not that I don't want you guys to see my workspace, but if I'm working like right here, there's no reason for you to see like the sides of my table. So that was a little bit of a conundrum that I hadn't thought about, but I made sure to get my phone the day before, so that if there was any problems, I could, fix them. Now, needless to say, I probably should have did that for the live chat, but we're not going to talk about it. Either way, so it was a pretty chill weekend. It was Mr. Coffee returned back to work this weekend. So, it, for the most part, was just me and the kids. And we hung around and did some practicing of schoolwork because Maggie had her assessment, her placement test. She had a placement test for school Thursday. Now, I was a little worried about Maggie's placement test. I'm not going to lie. Maggie is a little bit developmentally delayed. So, and that comes from, she wasn't a preemie or anything. It's just how she is. Orion was too, but he was a preemie. Orion was a whole like month early. So he was a little bit delayed until he hit like first grade. And once he hit first grade, you couldn't stop him. So I'm not too worried about Maggie. Maggie's now in second grade, but she's doing a little bit better. And according to her test results, she's actually doing a lot better than I thought. So like sometimes as a parent, I worry about absolutely nothing. So I have to like, remind myself that I need to stop babying them. But it's hard. Because, they're your babies, and you had them, and they were grown in your tum-tum. So, her teacher said she did well. He didn't have any problems getting her to do the assignments. Because my biggest concern is, one, it's a Maggie. Maggie has this mindset that she'll do what she wants when she wants to, and you ain't going to tell her otherwise. Now, of course, she is a child and I'm an adult. So if I need her to do something, she's going to do it. She ain't going to like it, but she's going to do it. And I usually have to tell her, you know, I'm your parent first before I'm your friend. I didn't create you to be friends. I created you to be your parent, to, you know, raise a functioning human being in society. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try to make you a functioning human being that won't terrorize or hurt anyone in society. But for the most part, like, Maggie's a pretty chill kid, and minus the fact that it was weird because Maggie and Orion spent most of the weekend getting along. Does anybody else's kids, like, scare you in that aspect? And by scare, I mean, okay, let me explain. Usually Maggie and Orion get along for the most part. But there are times where you would think that Maggie was going to murder Orion, and vice versa, because they fight. They fight like cats and dogs, and I don't know whether I'm a mom or a referee most days. And so I'm just like, what is wrong with you two? And they'll fight over stuff that's stupid. Like, they'll be sitting eating dinner. Neither one of them are eating, but they're telling on each other because they keep looking at each other. Now, I'm pretty sure as a child I did this with my siblings, but, like, I think, you know how when you're little, your parents go, they give you that curse, and they're like, you're going to grow up and have a child just like you. Now, my parents didn't take into the account that my sister wasn't going to have kids, so they just passed her curse all over to me. It's just, hey, your sister's not going to have kids, so I can't wait till you have a kid just like your sister. Because that's what I got with my Maggie. Maggie is just like my little sister Jasmine, constantly into everything, touching everything, wants everything, thinks everything is for her. And since her birthday just passed, every time I open a package in the house, she's like right there. She's like, Mom, is that for me? Not today, honey. Well, where's my stuff? I'm like, I don't know where your stuff is. What stuff are you talking about? Like, she's expecting to get stuff that I have no clue what she's expecting. And I'm like, I don't have any of your stuff. I have my stuff. And I've been getting like diamond paintings and stuff in. And she's like, well, why do you get all the cool stuff? Because I order all the cool stuff. That's why. Like, what the hell? Like, I feel like Maggie and Orion are the inspectors of every package, where most people are like complaining about their spouses and being like, oh, I have to hide this box from my husband. No, not in my house. It's, hey, let me hurry up and get this box in the house before the kids see it, because then they're going to wonder what's inside of it. And my kids are impatient. And I don't know about anybody else, but I don't open my packages as soon as they come in my house. It's just not a thing. Usually they sit unopened for about a week or so, sitting behind the couch until I'm ready to unbox them. But I don't open them right away. And that drives everyone insane. And so, like, if I get a box in and I don't open it right away, Mr. Coffee and the kids are just like, Mommy, 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 Mommy. You know, they got to do that mommy thing like 500 times. And then you're like, what? And they're like, you haven't opened this box yet. I know I haven't opened this box yet. Mind your dang business. Like, why is it that for some reason your family thinks that you have to open up packages as soon as you get them in? I don't know. Are you someone who opens up packages immediately? Now, as a YouTuber, of course, I have to wait to open packages because I like to have, like, a first impressions. And a lot of times when I get packages in, I know whether or not they're diamond paintings or just something random I ordered, like the pill pockets. I've had the pill pockets on order for, they're on order like a subscription because they work really well for Killian. And since Killian's going to have to spend the rest of his life on zinc, I need to make sure that he has the pill pockets, because we tried with the hot dogs. This dog is too freaking smart. I can't deal with this dog. I tried with the hot dogs, and see what had happened was, right? I would give him the hot dog, and at first I thought something was wrong with his mouth because he wasn't chewing it up like he normally does. Like, usually when you give Killian food, he will swallow it in one bite, just go. Like, he don't even care about chewing. He just swallows everything. But when it came to giving him the hot dog, it's like he knew something was up. It's like his brain was like, yeah, she put something in there, dude. Don't eat that like that. And he would eat the entire hot dog, and then he would spit out the pills. And then he'd come right in front of me and spit them out like he wanted another hot dog. And he would do that for maybe 2 or 3 hot dogs. And then he'd finally eat the pills, no problem. And I'm like, okay, I'm catching on to what you're doing, buddy. You're just doing this so that you get more hot dog. He was literally just trying to get another hot dog. So I'm like, okay. So last night I tried something different. Now, I don't like giving my dogs people food because it irritates their stomach. And so I was like, well, one of the things I can give you is peanut butter. Now, the last time Killian had peanut butter, he was pooping, he was summoning the poop gods in my house. By that, I mean, he was pooping in a circle across my wall, all throughout his crate, all throughout Daisy's crate, all over the floor. That took the long, I can still smell it. It's, anyways, so I don't like giving him peanut butter anymore. I'm scarred for life from giving my dog peanut butter because of the fact that the last time we gave him peanut butter, it just didn't go over well. So I'm sitting there and I go, okay, I'm going to try something different since he doesn't do the hot dog well. And I end up having to give him 2 or 3 hot dogs. And I don't want to keep giving him 2 and 3 hot dogs. I'm like, okay. So I went ahead and I grabbed the jar of peanut butter out of the cabinet. Now, it's very rare that the kids actually eat peanut butter. Like, there's not a whole lot of anything that, like, most kids will eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. My kids will, they will every once in a while if they're in the mood for it. If they're not in the mood for it, then no. I'm burnishing it, and I'm also scraping off some of the excess because I'm pushing a little hard because I'm so used to pressing hard. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to coat this pill in peanut butter and see if I can get him to eat it that way. Well, it worked. It freaking worked. He ate it, and I was like, oh, I know how you're getting your pills from now on. Y'all, it's a struggle trying to get this dog medicine because he's too freaking smart for his own good. So I think we figured out that we can give him his medicine through peanut butter. And what all I did with peanut butter was I just took a spoonful of it, stuck it in the pill, or stuck the pill in it, and then I scooped it up with my finger and just put it in his mouth. And he just right on up. And I was like, yes, eat that pill, doggy. You don't know any better, doggy. He didn't know any better. But luckily today his pill pockets come in, so he'll have his pill pockets again, so he won't have to be suspicious of what mommy's giving him, because every time I pull out his pills, he runs to his crate. And yes, they do have crates. They stay up all the time because whenever they feel like they need to escape Maggie's clutches, I let them have their crate. So let's see, what color we're going to color this squirrel. We got this little squirrel on her shoulder here. We got potato brown. We're going to go with mahogany. So yeah, so also, Maggie has been doing a lot better with her reading. That's the potato brown. I need mahogany. She's been doing a lot better with her reading. Has anybody else gone through this with their kid? Now, Maggie is very smart when she wants to be, okay? When she wants to be. If she's not being lazy, and I will fully admit that my child takes after her mama, she is lazy. I can't fault her for it. She gets it honestly. But I'm up here, worried about my daughter not being able to read, and she's in 2nd grade. And at this point in time in school, they don't care if you even do the assignments because they're not going to hold you back because there's a pandemic outside. So I'm like, I don't want her to be just pushed forward just because there's a pandemic. Like, she needs extra help. And she has an IEP and everything, which is an individual academic plan, where they, essentially help her to get to where she's at, where she needs to be at. Well, she did her assessment at school, and like I said, she did really good on it. Her teacher said her reading isn't as bad as I thought it was. Maggie apparently is just messing with me. And I was like, nah, she has, I watch her try to struggle to read, and then I realized, I watch her try to struggle and read. Watch her. So she knows I'm there. She knows if she has an issue, she can just ask mommy for help. So essentially, I've been hindering the process of her reading. Because apparently, on her reading exam, they had 20 words that she had to read for her reading exam. And it was like a couple of sentences that they would just mix up back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Well, Maggie got 16 of the words right and only 4 of the words wrong. And I was like, hold up, say what? You're joking, right? Now, there's times where I don't think Maggie has a reading problem. Like when I'm sending a text message, because I don't know who else's kids do this. Any other time, when it comes to reading a book, she don't know nothing. Let her read a text message once. Like if you put all of her books in text message form, I'm pretty sure she could read them. Because she had no problem. I don't remember who I was messaging the other day. But I think I was talking to Mama Vapes and Diamond Paints. I was talking about how, you know, something about making videos. And I typed out, you know, that's the crazy thing about making videos is you never know what you're going to get, blah, blah, blah. She reads the entire text message, no problem, not skipping a beat or anything. Reads the entire freaking text message. And I'm like, you've got to be flipping kidding me. I'm like, you can read, can't you? Now, Maggie, up until the end of last year, had everyone thinking that she legit could not read at all. Until the end of the school year when they had their little important test for placement for this year. She really wanted to get to second grade. So she aced the reading part of the exam and boom, she got kicked into second grade. Now, that's why, if you remember a couple whipping chats ago, I had mentioned that I told her she was going to go back to first grade. It's because I know it means a lot to her to be in second grade. Right now, she's like over the moon at the fact that she's in second grade. So what do you do to a child that's like super excited about being in second grade, but you want them to do their work so that they don't end up in second grade for a second year? You tell them you're taking second grade away from them. And then they do better. She's been doing a lot better with her schoolwork. I haven't been helping her as much, even right now. It's quiet because they're both homeschooling. So, I heard her door open. Hold on. All right. The moment I say she doesn't need help, she needed help. Anyways, she's just getting into her math class. She's doing her last class for the day. So, that is good. But yeah, if I can talk to her school and be like, look, I think these kids would learn a lot better if you put their reading assignments in text form. Like if it was like a fake cell phone on the screen and it looked like you were texting somebody back and forth, I'm pretty sure these kids would get the reading down no problem. Because Maggie can read out any and all of my text messages. And I'm like, if you can read out my text messages, then you can read a book. So we've been practicing a little bit with her reading, and she's been doing really, really well. Like, she's shocked me as how well she's been doing lately. So I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty excited for her because I know once she gets to reading, she's never going to want to stop. She already loves reading stuff anyways. Like, she loves reading cereal boxes and stuff, which how many people remember back in the day reading cereal boxes? So yeah, so she's excited. I'm excited. She's doing well. Orion's doing really good, except for the fact that on... what was it, Friday, I think it was? Friday, his teacher lets us know, one, why does this lady keep trying to meet us? And then when she does meet us, why does she keep telling us how good our son is? We get it. We get it. He's a good kid. We know. We're raising him. She needed to meet with us to give us his, what was it? She wanted to meet with us to give us a packet of stuff. Now, if you remember correctly, I just went to go meet her like a week or so ago to go get his books for school. And now she's like, well, now she's coming to the house to bring him a packet of stuff. And I'm like, one, who told you can come to my house? You don't know if I got pants on over here. Two, why is it that his stuff is coming to him in chunks instead of all together? I'm like, are y'all trying to get the kids that are at home sick? Like, I don't understand. And she's like, well, they keep giving it to us in parts, and so that's all we can do is give it in parts. And I'm like, look, this is complete BS. I'm sorry. I did not have my kids stay home to avoid getting the virus, to have you guys visiting my house or me having to go up to that school every week just so you can hand him a piece of paper. Well, apparently he had a science experiment he had to do. And I'm like, okay, what's the science experiment? He has to make a catapult. And I'm thinking to myself, somebody's going to lose an eye. Somebody's going to lose an eye. Mr. Coffee was here. And when Mr. Coffee heard catapult, his ears perked up. And he was like, oh, catapult? Can I help you? And I'm like, yes, please help your son. Because we all see what happens when he tries to help Maggie. Now, if you didn't see that, over on my Instagram, I've started doing the reels, which is like the little 15-second clips. I send him in to help Maggie with her schoolwork. And I go in to check on them maybe 20, 30 minutes later. And they're playing Barbies. And I'm like, this is not helpful. He goes, it's helpful to both of us. And I'm like, why is that? He goes, her homework is hard. And she goes, yeah, mommy, it's hard. I'm like, it's not hard. It's second grade. I go look at it. And one of the problems had, apparently they're having glitches. So she had a whole assignment where she was attempting to try to do 5th grade math. And it even said 5th grade on it, but Mr. Coffee didn't know where to look to see the grade level, so he didn't notice. And he goes, I think this is a little too hard for her. He's like, I'm starting to think that you're right, that they're giving her work that's too hard. And I went and looked at it, and I went, well, that could be because the computer glitched out again and put her in math for 5th grade. And he goes, well, that explains a lot. And I'm like, why you say that? And he goes, because I had to help her do a fraction, and she had no clue what I was talking about, and I was getting frustrated. That's why we're playing Barbies. And I'm thinking, why didn't you come out and say something? He goes, well, you told us to let you alone so you can record. And I'm like, that is not what I meant. So I had to message her teacher and be like, hey, by the way, the computer's messed up again. She's doing 5th grade math. They did the same thing with her reading. They put her in a 3rd grade reading class. The problem was with that was she did 3rd grade reading, no problem. She passed the assessment with a 98. But she can't do 1st grade reading or 2nd grade reading. And I'm like, yeah, you're full of it. Yeah, like these kids be trying to play us like we're Bobo the Food. Like they think we got Boo Boo the Food written on our forehead or something. Like we're not going to know that they're playing with our emotions and our time. And I'm like, Mama's got to record videos. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit in here nicely and listen to your assignments. And then Mommy's going to record, and if you need help, just come out and tell Mommy you need help. And so that's what I have her doing now. Orion is writing a story for school. I'm not sure what the story is about. He did make his catapult. They did spend the rest of the evening catapulting anything that they could possibly think of. We went to Walmart to get stuff to make a bigger catapult, apparently, because Mr. Coffee, of course, you know, he couldn't handle just the little catapult. No, it has to be the bigger catapult. I don't like how I did that rope. Oh, well. It has to be the bigger catapult. So he went to Walmart and they went and bought stuff to make a bigger catapult. And I'm just sitting there like, you are a big kid. Like, you are worse than the kids. He is, y'all. Anybody else have a spouse that's worse than the kids or just as bad? Asking for my sanity. So yeah, it's been a great weekend. I didn't sleep well last night. We had to play 2 hours of Stanky Leg in my room last night because apparently, if y'all remember, I told y'all Mr. Coffee likes to do this thing where he keeps his leg up when he's sleeping. And he just like shakes it back and forth. And what I normally do is I take my big toe and the toe next to it and I put it on his Achilles heel and I push his foot down. He hates when I do that because he says it feels funny. And I'm like, I don't care. You know what else feels funny? Being jerked up out of my sleep every 2 seconds because your leg keeps falling. And you can't feel it because you're asleep. Meanwhile, I'm not sleeping, so I'm sitting up there like, you know, looking like who done it. His leg is shaking back and forth, and he's steadily talking in his sleep, and I'm like, so now we got Stanky Leg, and we're going to talk in our sleep. Okay, so no sleep for me tonight. All right, cool. He wakes up this morning, he's like, God, I feel really good this morning. He woke up at like 4 this morning. He goes, I feel really good this morning. I feel like I got like a full night's sleep. He looks over at me. Y'all know that picture of the diamond painting of the owl with the coffee cup and it has like the robe and the slippers on and it looks like it's been drinking a little bit of the whiskey? Yeah, that was me when he woke up this morning because I couldn't sleep because he was doing the Stanky Leg thing all freaking night. And then when he wasn't doing it, he was laughing and giggling in his sleep like a little schoolgirl. And I'm like, what are you laughing and giggling at in your sleep? Like, seriously. So I got to deal with that all night, and then I woke up this morning, and I was just like, I'm not ready for live. And, of course, because I live in an apartment complex, the trash comes every Monday to get taken out. Like, they have a dumpster that the trash people come and take every Monday. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to take the dogs out and get the trash out before the guy comes and takes the dumpster away, because if he takes the dumpster away, then I have to walk halfway through the complex just to go find the dumpster, because they obviously have more than one dumpster. Well, I missed the guy like by 2 seconds, but my mind wasn't thinking what I was doing, and I dropped the leashes for the dogs, and I'm trying to chase after the truck with like my monster slippers on, and the dogs are like chasing behind me because they're not on their, like, I'm not holding them, but they think I am. And so I'm just like, oh God, now I have to walk to the other end of the complex, and I'm just like, come on doggies, let's go. And they just trottle behind me, walking to the other end of the complex. This weekend wasn't a good weekend for the dogs anyways, because we went to the dog park. What was it? Was that Saturday or Sunday? I think it was Saturday. And there was these 2 little boys in the dog park, and they were just playing and, you know, having a good old time with their little puppy. They have a little puppy in there with them. And I do like I normally do when people are at the dog park. I just sit and wait for them to be done, because usually if they see us waiting, they won't stay in there for too long. Like, I usually give them, you know, 10, 15 minutes before I get up and go, hey, are you going to be much longer? Because usually after that long, most dogs have gone to the bathroom and now they're just in there playing. And if they're going to play, can I let my dogs come in and play? Like, they're not going to hurt your dog, but, you know, I would really like for them to be able to go to the bathroom. So I sat down on the bench across the way from the dog park and watched the little puppy play because it was so cute. I don't know if anybody remembers that show, Frasier. But his little dog from Frasier, that's what kind of dog it was. I can never remember the kind of dog it is. I want to say it's some kind of a terrier. But that's what kind of dog it was, like the guy had from the show Frasier back in the day. And it was so cute running around and yipping. And of course, Killian sees it and he's thinking, oh, well, it's time to play. And I'm like, that little puppy does not want to play with you. And I hear one of the little boys go, oh, I think she's waiting. And I'm like, take your time, it's all right. I'm like, they're fine. They can wait for a few more minutes. So little boys play for a few more minutes and then they go, you can have the park, thanks. I'm like, you're welcome. Well, I go to get to the park. Now, these boys probably are like 11, 12, somewhere around there. And as I go to get in the dog park, now I usually take my dogs to the back end of the dog park. Why? Because of the fact that that's just the way the direction we walk when we get to the dog park is that way. So it's towards the bottom end instead of the top end of the dog park. So I usually just go through the bottom. Well, these kids didn't know this and they left the gate open. And my dogs are trained. They are trained not to leave that gate. Well, training went all out the window because the little boys, as they were leaving, one, they didn't put the puppy on a leash. They just kind of let the puppy follow them home, which is great for training your dog to figure out how to get back home, is not to put them on a leash. Now, if they're one to run, then yeah, no, don't do that. But if they're not one to run, great way to teach them to find their way home is to have them follow you. And when I say follow you, I mean you ahead of them, and then they follow you. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, hold on, how's this going to look? Oh, it's not going to look too bad. So I'm like, all right, you know, their dog's following them home, whatever. And then I see that they left the gate open. And I'm like, oh, good gravy. Here we go. Well, they left the gate open, to which my dogs went, this is an open invitation to go run after them and their dog. So they bolt. They take off. And they usually do run when they get in the dog park anyway. So at first I wasn't really worried about it. And then I realized, oh, snap, they're running to the gate. I colored that the wrong color. And since I realized that they were running to the gate, I yelled and told them to come back. They got as far as out the gate, past the bench, and then came right back. But the boys seen them running, and the boys took off. They were like, oh, snap, those dogs. And they just take off. And I'm like, they're not going to bite you. They just want the puppy. They want to play with the, okay. So I had to go find the little boys and apologize to them so that they weren't all scared of the dogs. And I'm like, it's not that the dogs, you know, are scary dogs. They thought you were playing, and then you left the gate open. So they were just like, oh, look, she left the gate open. We're going to go, you know, outside the gate. And they apologized for leaving the gate open. I'm like, yeah, whenever you leave, even if you just leave that first gate closed, or if you close that first gate, leave the second gate open. I'm like, even that would be fine. I'm like, but I wouldn't advise leaving both gates wide. Like, they left it wide open. And the dogs just took it as an open invitation to go in there and run out to go run after them. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't do that in the future. Next time, just make sure you close at least one of the gates so that they can't get out. Usually they don't. This was the first time I've actually seen them actually run out after someone. So I was just kind of like, yeah, just don't leave the gate open. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what color to make her sweater. I want to make it like a fall type sweater. But I don't want to do Freddy Krueger's brown and green. So I'm trying to think of another color that would go good with this red. I want to do that. That's more like a skin tone color. What are some fall colors? Burgundy, which I already have. Coral. I like a light brown, but I don't want to do brown because it matches our skin tone too much. So I need like maybe this quiche color. Yeah, that'll work. But yeah, so also, if you saw my post on Instagram, if you missed it, it's the one with the picture of Mr. Coffee. Now, I don't think Mr. Coffee watches my videos anymore, so I think I might be safe to talk about this in here. But we were talking last night, and I pulled out my tablet. Now, I have an iPad Pro, the 12.9-inch screen and stuff, because I use it for my artwork. And Mr. Coffee has been wanting my tablet. Now, I told him he cannot have it because I busted my butt to get that tablet. And I also have, like, the Apple Pen that goes with it. It's one of the first things I bought myself when I started making money on YouTube, is I bought the tablet and the Apple Pen. And I have service on them from my phone carrier. Well, Mr. Coffee wanted to get a tablet as well, but I'm like, there's no point, because literally he never uses a tablet. So I don't like buying things for him when I know he's not going to use it, and that's a lot of money to waste just so he can say he has a tablet. Plus, he does have a tablet. It's just older, but for school, he's going to need a newer tablet. So I was sitting there racking my brain yesterday trying to figure out how can we get him a tablet. Now, I don't want to go refurbished, because if there's ever a problem with it, I wanted something brand new out of the box, because he likes to collect the Apple boxes. I don't know what's wrong with him. So I was like, all right. So we're going to go with, you know, the 12.9-inch, and then we're going to go with the Apple Pen. I'm like, so that's going to be about $1,500. And I'm thinking to myself, where the heck am I going to pull $1,500 out of my ass at? His birthday is in November. It's the beginning of November. It's November 5th. Don't forget, November 3rd is voting day. Get out and vote. So I'm like, what can I get him? Because you guys know, he wanted that stuff for his truck. And I already have the stuff for the fender flares. I can buy the fender flares, no problem. Which are the little coverings for, like, the wheel wells. So I'm like, I can get that, no problem. What I'm worried about is, I want to get the tablet for him, but I don't have $1,500 just laying around where I can just be like, let's spend this on a tablet for you so you can say you have a tablet. So I figured, like my daddy always taught me, you want something bad enough, you'll earn it. So I was like, okay, maybe instead of harboring and hoarding all the stuff that I'm buying for my Cricut stuff, maybe I should start selling it. So I am going to start selling, but I haven't figured out exactly how, because I'm probably going to open up the Etsy shop. Yes, I have Etsy. I'm probably going to open up the Etsy shop and sell that way. Now, if you saw that post, I do want to remind people, because I was alerted to this morning, and I'm like, no, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. I am not selling my machines. I'm selling the crafts I make with my machines. The machines together weren't even $1,000, so that's not going to bring me in a whole lot of money, and I literally just got my machine. So I'm like, no, ma'am, I'm not selling the machines. I'm selling stuff I'm making with the machines. And she's like, oh, okay. So I will be starting to sell. Again, I have to figure out whether or not I'm going to do it on Etsy or how I'm going to do it. Just because, like, the cost of shipping, I'm going to find out today how much it costs to ship stuff out of country, because I got to ship off a couple more Patreon gifts, and most of them are out of country. So I'm going to figure out how much that is all today. And then we're going to go through and, is this guy? I think it was apricot. Is it apricot? It's going to be apricot today. So I went through and I was figuring out what exactly I want to sell. I don't know if I want to sell shirts yet. I know I like doing the canvas totes, and I like doing the canvases, like the artist canvases themselves. And maybe at some point I will do the, at some point I will do t-shirts, just not right now. So there's that. Shadowing under here. We're going to go back at this here. It's one of the reasons why I don't like doing the coloring chats, because I'm trying to focus on what I'm coloring and talk at the same time. And most of the time I can't walk and chew gum. So, yeah, so that was the other thing we were doing. So please, 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 if you're seeing this, do not mention this in live. Do not mention that, you know, you're giving money to the iPad fund or anything. Please don't mention it. just because I want to keep it a secret until his birthday, because I want to surprise him for his birthday. He's such a good guy, and he does work really hard for the family, and I want to do something nice for him besides buy him something for his ugly truck. So I'm hoping that I will be able to surprise him. So if you are looking to help me, I again will have stuff for sale over on Etsy. Give me a little bit to get a stash pile stocked up, because I am going to start selling some of the ones I've made here at the house. And then I'm going to start selling some of the ones that I have, some of the ones that I've made just recently. Like last night I made 3 fall ones. I'm going to make some Halloween ones and some Christmas ones. And yeah, so there's going to be a plethora of different things you can choose from. So let's see. Because there's a couple of things I wanted to make sure I did talk about today. I wanted to talk about Killian and make sure you guys know he's doing better. He did have his vet appointment, and he did end up tearing his dew claw. He tore his dew claw whenever he was at the vet's office this past time. I don't know how and or why dogs have dew claws. Like, I know why. But Killian essentially was trying to get away from the vet and his technicians, and he ended up ripping his dew claw, just like a big chunk of it, not the whole thing. So it'll grow back, but it looked painful and it was bleeding everywhere, and they had to, you know, have him sit down and so that they can clean the wound, and that was fun. So, but yeah, other than that, he's doing just fine. He's reacting well to his zinc pills. I just have to make sure, again, I don't run out of the pill pockets, because those seem to be his thing. So, yeah, so he's doing fine. Maggie's doing good in school. Orion's doing good in school, even after making the catapult. There was another experiment that he had to do, something with water and dye and salt. And I'm like, would it not be nice if these teachers would communicate the supplies that we're going to need? Because I don't have food coloring, and I don't have, like, Ziploc bags. And so we had to run out to the store yet again to go get Ziploc bags and stuff. And I'm not about going to the store over and over and over again in one day. And usually Mr. Coffee will go, because every time I go, I come back with aisle 3, which is the yarn aisle. And then he's just kind of sitting there like, hun, what is this? This is mind your business. This is what it is. Like, he doesn't usually let me go to the store for this reason. Okay, Maggie needed some help getting into her next assignment. So, yeah. So, I'm going to be starting to sell the Cricut Craft stuff. So, like I said, I think I'm going to do it on Etsy, because I have to do it somewhere where everybody has access to it. And I can't do it on just Instagram, because there are people who don't have Instagram. And I can't do it on just Facebook, because, of course, there's people who don't have Facebook. But Etsy is one of those sites that you can go on. I just really didn't like the fact that they take out so much tax and stuff now. So, pricing will, of course, vary. But I want to be able to get him the Apple Pen with the tablet at the same time and have it all be brand new to him. Because, you know, he deserves something brand new. I don't want to get something used. Not that there's anything wrong with used items. But when it comes to electronics and Mr. Coffee, he likes them brand new. So I'm going to be working my butt off for that. So diamond painting and stuff is going to come to a little bit of a halt. Not halt, like stop. But I won't be going as fast as I am. Like, I made pretty good progress on the fox already. But, like, he won't be done in a timely fashion like I usually have stuff done. Just because I'm going to be focusing on trying to get this stuff made and sold for Mr. Coffee for his birthday to get him his gift. So I'm pretty excited about that part. So I will leave my Etsy shop down below, and make sure you click the heart so that you know when the stuff is going to be in the shop. It's been a while since I've opened my shop, and my shop has been on vacation mode. So if you go in and it's still on vacation mode, don't fret. Don't have to message me and be like, Miss Coffee, there's nothing in your shop yet. Probably won't be anything in the shop for a couple of days, because like I said, I need to make a stockpile of stuff first before I go selling stuff. So, also, I probably won't be doing t-shirts just because I don't have a stockpile of t-shirts. And so I would have to order the shirts, and it takes about 3 or 4 business days to get the shirts in. And so, like, if you want a t-shirt or something, you might have to message me so that I know what size and color to get. And I can do it that way. Which I have a feeling I'm going to get an inbox full of messages for people wanting shirts. But I do have, like, right now, what I'm going to be posting is tote bags, cups, which if you haven't seen Laura Costello's cup, I will post a picture of it on Instagram or something. But it had like a little butterfly on it, and it had like the little purple ribbon for fibromyalgia. So I will have cups, and you can I can turn it into like a Starbucks cup or something. But yes, so if you haven't checked out Etsy in a while or something, or you would like to go over and make sure that you're following my Etsy shop to make sure you know when the stuff is available, go ahead and do that, because that's the only fair way I can do it, because I know if I do it on just Instagram or Facebook, somebody will fuss because it's not fair to them because they don't have that social media. So we're just going to do it over on Etsy. Let's see, let's go with blue for her blue jeans. Oh, wrong side. So yeah, so it was pretty chill week. Just essentially refereeing the kids, making sure they're not killing themselves. Mr. Coffee's new work schedule. He's on a new hitch, and I got kind of mad because he was told that another guy, he wants to go back to his Monday through Friday schedule because it's better for not only him, but for his back. Because he's trying to avoid back surgery, and the one way to do that is to alleviate the stress on his back. Well, to do that, he'd have to have more than just, 10 days off at a time and then be working for 20 days straight. So, oh, that's brilliant blue. I want something lighter than that. Oh, is that going to be lighter or is that going to be darker? That's going to be darker. So we're actually going to go over that other color with this one. So yeah, so he's looking to go back to his original schedule that he was on before they switched things around on him. And so he was told yesterday that another one of his coworkers got the schedule that he wanted, which made me mad because they offered it to him and told him that when they have it come available that they let him have it. And now we're being told that this other coworker was offered it. And what makes me mad is the fact that the coworker was offered it, but the coworker hasn't showed up for work yet for his hitch, and his hitch is already halfway over. And so I'm just like, so are they going to just now offer you? Because we're trying to avoid the back surgery, because that means he's going to be out of work for at least 6 months. And that's no pay. So I'm like, is there anything they can do to make sure that, you are the next one up to get offered this? Because that would be wonderful. So we're waiting to hear back from that. But other than that, he went through physical therapy, which he only had like 2 or 3 sessions. And the guy said, he just needs to continue working out, which they had him get a yoga ball. And he's supposed to work out on the yoga ball. I was fussing at him the other day because, again, Mr. Coffee can want and or need something, and then he'll buy it and then not use it. Drives me absolutely insane. Name one thing your spouse does that drives you up the wall. Because my biggest thing with Mr. Coffee is that he'll buy something or say he wants something. He'll get it and then not use it. And I'm like, then what did you want it for? Like, just so you can say you have it? Good gravy, man. So, yeah. So he got the yoga ball. He's used it twice. And I'm like, now we just have this gigantic yoga ball running around the house. And for the most part, it's just something that Maggie can escape to her room with. We're sitting here watching TV the other night. And I see something like kind of bounce past me. And then I see her run. And I'm like, what was that? And she's like, nothing. And I'm like, okay, you're lying. So what was that? So I get up to see what it was. And here she done stole the yoga ball because we keep it in the laundry room. She done stole the yoga ball out of the laundry room and was trying to take it to her room to go play. And I'm like, that is not for playing, ma'am. That is for daddy's back. And she goes, well, he's not using it. And I'm like, you got a point there. And he just kind of looks at me. I'm like, what? She had a point. Like, you're not using it. Like, you need to start using this. But he hasn't had any problems with his back because he hasn't been at work. So, I'm hoping that if they do offer him the position, which I know if they offer it to him, he'll take it. But I'm really hoping that they actually do offer it to him. And it's not going to be one of these things where they tell him they're going to give it to him and then they try to offer it to everybody else before they give it to him. Because, yeah, that's a thing. So, let's see. T-shirt underneath, we're going to go with gray. But I hope everyone else had a great weekend. Like I said, we didn't do much. I spent most of, like, you probably noticed by now, my nails have changed since Friday. I had to put on new nails because I spent majority of the weekend that I wasn't, you know, working on the Cricut and doing stuff, I spent a majority of the weekend with my hands in bleach, sanitizing the house. Because every weekend I go through and I don't necessarily deep clean, but I sanitize everything with bleach and Clorox wipes and all the fun stuffs. Just so, which color was I using? I was using these two colors. I sanitize everything with bleach, just, you know, to kill the germs and stuff. But I'm laughing because, like, Orion's friend's mom keeps messaging me about them hanging out, and I'm like, I don't think you understand what's going on outside. And she's like, oh, this virus is just a hoax. And I'm like, okay, you believe what you want to believe. I'm not going to tell anybody that what they believe is stupid. I can think it, but I'm not going to tell them that. And so I'm like, you can believe what you want to believe, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm not trying to have my kid get the virus because you want your child to have a play date because you want to do something with your life that's not taking care of your kid. No, thank you. Yeah, no, there would be no play dates. There would be no sleepovers. No, that's not happening. I'm like, plus you don't know where I've been. You don't know where, I don't know where you've been. And what if, you know, Orion's dad has come in contact with someone who has COVID, which he already has. So, like, I'm like, why would you, want to risk your child's health just so he can go play with Orion? I'm like, he can play with Orion on Xbox, okay? Like, he don't have to leave the house for that. Well, Jack was just saying that he misses Orion. I'm like, I don't care who misses who. I'm not letting people in my house to give my kids the Rona. I'm sorry, that's not a thing. So yeah, like, I'm trying to, like, explain to her in nice terms that I don't want her son at the house because there's a virus. And even though she doesn't believe in it, I do. And I don't want my kid getting sick. And like I said, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm not about to have my kid catch the Rona. So yeah. And she was still messaging me, like, as of this weekend. And I'm like, look, I love Jack. He's a great kid. But I am not going to risk my son's health just so he can play with Orion. Like, he can literally play with Orion on Xbox. They don't have, which is essentially what they did all summer. All summer they played on Xbox together. So I'm like, they really don't need to be in the same space. And I really don't want to risk my children getting sick or myself because Jack wants to come over and play. Like, I understand, I get it. A lot of people around here aren't social distancing. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm like, do you know how much better the world would be if you just follow directions and do what you're supposed to do? We probably would still be like, we'd probably be in a better spot than we are now. And I'm like, I don't want to risk my kids getting sick just so that they can have a play date. And she's like, well, all right, well, you know, if you change your mind. Oh, am I going to change my mind? I mean, if the virus goes away? Yeah, no, it's all right. That's cool. That's good. So, yeah, let's see what we're doing next here. Oh, we're going to get that rose gold and kind of put over the top of this. I like the way it looks over the top of it. There we go. So yeah, so I spent most of the day, like, just sanitizing the house and cleaning up after the dogs, cleaning their crates and stuff out. Like, it was a cleaning weekend. And so, because Mr. Coffee was gone, which, you know, as soon as he leaves the house, it's like clean party. So, like, I put the kids in the room together, and they actually, like I said, they actually played nicely together, and they weren't trying to kill each other because, like I said, there's times where I feel like a mom, and there's times I feel like a referee. And then last night, which is probably be the last story before I have to let you guys go. Last night, I'm sitting here and I'm minding my own business. And Mr. Coffee said he wanted spaghetti. Now, I felt bad because the night before I had him go to the store to buy stuff to make spaghetti. Well, he thought we were having it the night before. And I'm like, no, we're having pork chops. And he's like, oh, I thought we were having spaghetti. And I'm like, no, we're having pork chops. Well, he really wanted spaghetti. So I was like, well, we'll have spaghetti tomorrow. So yesterday I made spaghetti. Well, Mama added a little special ingredient to the spaghetti, apparently, without noticing it. But, as I'm sitting here making the spaghetti, I'm trying to, like, answer messages. And apparently one of the links I had for the video I had up was wrong. So I had to go back and switch that. And I go back to switch the link. And, by the way, thank you to everyone who answered the question of the video. Now, if you don't know what video I'm talking about Spell Queen. Spell Queen is one of these companies that is just newly coming out. So they have a ton of stolen artwork from different places, And I wanted to show, like, I don't like telling you guys, don't buy from a company. I like for you to make up your own mind, which is why I asked the question, would you buy from this company? What is it for you that makes you not want to purchase? And a lot of you said because of the stolen images. A lot of you said because of the price points, which is the kind of what I was trying to get you guys to think of. Like, I want you to think for yourselves. I don't want you to be told by somebody, don't buy from there. And so as I'm sitting there and I get the message back from the seller, they're telling me, thank you for doing that video. Thank you for, they said thank you to the subscribers for pointing out the issues that they still need to work on. They are a new company, so they are looking forward to sending me out another kit to try after they've made some adjustments to their website and everything, which one of the adjustments I saw was that they did replace some of the images, not all of them. They're not all gone yet, but they did replace a lot of the images that were stolen on the website. They did replace them, so I was happy to see that they actually legit are making progress on their word and trying to make the site better. But we'll see over time. I don't like that yellow. We will see over time what exactly they actually do with the website. And again, once they're done with whatever they're doing, they will send me out a new kit and I will review and tell you guys what I think. So thank you to everyone who participated in that video. But yeah, I've been making videos out the yin yang, which is why you guys have been getting so many videos, and it's been great. Now, the one thing that everybody keeps asking me about is Craftably, which I will get to them this week. I promise I will unbox my Craftably box. Y'all, it's just been sitting over there in the room, like, sad and dejected. I feel so bad. But I've just been really busy with everything else. Either way, let's go back to the spaghetti story. So, I'm making dinner, and I'm answering questions from videos, and I had to change the link in the video because the link was wrong. Well, I go to change the link for that video, and I'm like, let me check the links for my other videos. I'm checking the links for my videos. I'm stirring spaghetti. Now take it. If my kitchen stove is messed up, where every once in a while the aisle will go from being on low to high in like 2.35 seconds. And so you have to watch the one burner on the aisle because it will get so super hot. Well, I wasn't paying attention, and it started, like, the heat started coming up and rising up, and I'm like, what is going on with this burner all of a sudden? Well, then it decides that it's going to start, like, getting really hot, and then the sauce in the pan, because I made sauce, the sauce in the pan starts to bubble, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, your sauce is supposed to bubble, right? Right. Well, it's not supposed to bubble to the fact that you're getting burnt from it. Like, it made me have a flashback of when I got burned on my chest when I was making bacon once. Like, it was a whole situation. Like, I had gotten like a 2nd or 3rd degree burn right where my heart is on my chest, because I had a really low U-shaped shirt on, a scoop neck shirt, I think is what it's called, and I got burnt on my chest, and Jordan kept making fun of me because he said my chest smelled like bacon now. So I'm like, well, at least it brings all my bacon smell brings you to the yard, because I smell like bacon apparently. So I'm sitting there and I'm like dodging this hot lava magma that's popping out of this pan, and I'm trying to like change links and do all this other stuff. At some point, I ended up changing the link to a cell phone case recovery thing or something. And, like, I had people messaging me, like, Miss Coffee, I can't get the link to work for your video. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I get for trying to do more than one thing at a time. Apparently, I had linked something completely different than what I was supposed to link. And I was like, oh, crap. So I had to go back in and change that. So thank you to everyone who caught that. Because Lord knows I didn't catch it. And I was just like, what link? And I go click on it. It's taking me to, like, a cell phone protector or something. And I'm like, oh, that must have been from when I was trying to buy my cell phone, because I was buying the protective glass for the case of my cell phone. So that must have been what that was from. But anyways, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. I do greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. But until then, always remember, If you're new to the channel and would like to see more random crazy videos just like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. But with that said, folks, I must now bid you adieu. But not before reminding you, like I always try to. Be kind, be courteous,